Hello, and welcome to a podcast about an anime show of some kind. I am your host, Neil Bolt, who is indeed very knowledgeable about such things, and I'm here to tell you about the developments of the last season of this anime show, in which a 10-year-old boy aspires to be the greatest Pokemon trainer in the world. To do this, he enlists the help of many friends and his Pokemon Pikachu. Together, they must search the world for new Pokemon while avoiding the likes of Team Rocket, as well as other evil organizations. It all ends with a big battle where you're not quite sure who's going to win, and somehow some weird fucking shit happens, and it ends. Yeah, and former enemies are friends, that sort of thing. It's great. It's a shame it's been so long since we've seen something this great. Yeah, and when Ash beats the Frieza, it's the best thing ever.
Now I want to see a death battle between Charizard and Frieza.
I am, of course, not the host of this Dragon Ball podcast, as you can tell, but I thought it would be interesting to
because
try.
There's no way to top that, that's why.
Yeah.
You did good, Neil. You did good.
You're good. Well, if I'm talking shit, I'm doing well. That's usually the way it seems. Join me next week when I review Pokemon the First movie.
I remember that. Oh, Neil, I remember that. Like, spoilers. I remember that iconic moment when Ash died, and then all the Pokemon gathered together with the Dragon Balls to wish him back to life. Yeah.
What's scary is there's too many parallels. I think it's almost like there's too many tropes in anime shows that might be.
Remember that time when Krillin threw a senzu bean at Charizard?
I think he came back with Ultra Instinct too, didn't he?
Yeah. I remember when Ash had to gather the three Dragon Balls in order to restore balance to the Orange Islands. Brilliant.
I remember Mewtwo, when Mewtwo decided to have an arena fight because he was all different types of Pokemon merged into one, and he decided to test it by fighting everyone in an arena. Yeah,
and then Goku had to solve that ancient Egyptian puzzle and bring forth a dark and powerful alter ego. And whenever he's threatened by evil,
Goku.
He plays like a card game, and it's great.
My favorite scene was when Mewtwo actually met Frieza for the first time, and they realized that they were long lost twins because they both shared the same color scheme.
But also secretly lovers.
And they teamed up. Yeah, it was rather awkward when they discovered they were related, but incest is best. So,
what is happening?
We've created a new anime
made of all others.
Wow.
What about the time that Goku ended up living in a house with like half women, half monsters, and they're all after him to have the sex with him, and he was really incredibly embarrassed about it. And
that was my favorite arc. Love sexy spider girls.
Yeah.
Remember the arc where Gohan wanted to be the Pirate King?
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a very good one.
Gomu Gomu no worthless character.
Well, thank God I tried it with a useless anime then.
Oh man, you remember when like Goku and Ash and Frieza and that guy from Yu-Gi-Oh teamed up to travel the world as a team called the Blade Breakers to win a championship, realizing there's just more at stake on the go. Yeah, what a day.
And then they realized they were all digital monsters all along.
Sure.
And then they learned they all had a special gift about each of them that was very unique to them, and they went to an academy to hone those powers and learn how to become heroes.
Yeah,
some of them became heroes, and they went plus ultra.
And then they joined Jackie Chan and his extended family to fight a criminalized organization for magic talismans that could release an evil spirit.
And then Mr. T came in and helped them.
Oh, sorry, that was Jackie Chan Adventures.
One more thing. Those sensu beans are good for digestion, bad for everything else.
Remember when Pikachu and Ash just had to roam across the post-apocalyptic wasteland, and everything was depressing and horrible, and they basically just lived in misery and sin? Or that might have been the road. I'm not quite sure.
I remember Jiren battling Titans. That was
Yeah, that was good.
with Saitama, and they were able to beat the Titans in one punch, thus rendering the entire struggle for humankind moot.
Yeah, and like when Vegeta's hand was replaced by like an alien parasite, and it just did all sorts of crazy whippy shit.
That turned into a hentai midway through, so it kind of became uncomfortable after sip.
But season 8 was just too good, so it brought it back.
What the fuck? What's happening?
I don't
This
know,
definitely
but it's
took
glorious.
a left turn.
So, guys, what did you think of Dragon Ball Super while we're here?
It was great with bread.
Definitely a 5 out of 7 with rice.
Oh, dear. So yeah, anyway, that ended. I can't say much about it because I watched like 4 episodes of Dragon Ball Super, and that's it. And the movies where they basically do some of the plot lines.
By the way, I've decided because the movie's going to be globally released, I'm going to go to the premiere and hopefully go to London for it. I want to go. I want to go to the premiere. I want to sit right at the front. I want to be like, look at me. I spent way too much money to see a movie.
Yeah, so, were you saying last week you have to take like 4 trains, a horse-drawn carriage?
Oh no, if I'm going to London, it's not too bad. London, it's just a train to York, and then a train from York to London. And then I have to get... Well, it depends on where in London it is, of course. Not too bad.
Hop on a broomstick.
It's only about 4.5 hours. I don't mind travelling 4.5 hours to watch Dragon Ball. Because I'm mental.
Anyway, as I was saying, I cannot possibly host this podcast any longer just because, you know, I don't know anything more than what I just said, obviously, all the previous seasons and all that stuff we just talked about.
Well, you know that Gotenks exists, so therefore you know almost as much as Tim.
It kind of lost me. It kind of lost me when Fonzie jumped over Vegeta on the water skis. And
remember that time Fonzie jumped over Vegeta and then hit his chest and went, "Hey!"
Or what about the one where Goku runs back from the airport to tell Ross that he loves him?
But we were on a break.
Hey, no joke, man. There's some real sexual tension in the air between Goku and Frieza. They know what's up. They realize they're meant for each other.
I'm going to tell you now, guys, and I think everyone who knows me knows this, but when I was at FanFest, I noticed that the whatchamacallit, the hotel that they... I know they didn't record it there, but the hotel that they shot... Yeah, Caesar's Palace. I literally told... I think it was... Was it you, Garri? Was it someone else? I can't remember. I had someone with me at the time, and I walked into Caesar's Palace and I said, "Sorry, I've got to do this to him." And I stood there shouting out as loud as I could, "We were on a break!"
No, it wasn't with me.
Okay, it was something
That's
else
for
then.
sure.
All I know is I had to tell someone to stand there while I shouted at them that. It's a lifelong dream completed. I have a very short, sad, lifelong dreams, but still, that was one of them.
Hey, goals, man. You got to have goals for yourself. Doesn't matter how big or small they are. If that was on your bucket list, by God, you could say you did it, and you did it proud.
I did it. And people looked at me confused, but I did it.
Aye. Anyway,
Yeah.
Ben, would you like to host this podcast?
No, I think I'll let Garri host it.
Okay.
What the hell?
Well, we're going to let Alfonso
I could-
talk most of it anyway, so...
I mean, I could carry on, but, you know, I'm just going to look for a list of anime descriptions, and that's all it would be at this rate.
Oh, geez. Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us on this podcast, I guess, if that's what you want to call it.
This April Fool's Day podcast.
Yeah,
Oh,
still
sure.
April Fools.
You probably recognize everybody's voice here, from Ben to Chris to
Yup.
Neil for some reason. And
Well, I had to come on and talk about when Majin Buu wrote in the Death Note book and it killed Jiren.
To be fair, though, I could see Majin Buu doing that, and that would be beautiful. But he writes it with like chocolate, and then he licks it afterwards because he's hungry.
and returning to the podcast after an absence, Alfonso, say hello.
Yeah,
Welcome back, buddy.
good to be back.
How did you enjoy the ending of Super?
It, I was 50-50.
Oh, like me. Well, tell us about the feelings that you have for the times you were not here.
What was the last episode that was on? 27, I think. 28.
Huh?
No, the last episode that we discussed was that episode 128.
I think so. Maybe.
Okay, so from 129 to 131. The when that fight really began between Goku and Jiren, that was a very colorful fight. You saw a whole bunch of colors: purple, orange, green, red, blue. It was like an explosion of rainbows.
I can see a
No?
rainbow.
Can't really remember because that's a couple of weeks ago. But from what I do remember, I felt like he should have got eliminated because I mean you eliminate Frost for attacking the competition, but he attacked the spectators, but you do nothing about it. That I feel like they took a lot of like cheap shots in that episode, and I didn't like that. I don't really care for Goku's Ultra Instinct. Like I said the last time, the whole perfect form, I feel like it's just another cheat because basically he can dodge anything. No one can touch him. I don't prefer that. They consider it God power. I don't like that because what we know from Goku is that he basically trained on, you train and train and train to get where he's at. And I feel like giving him this technique or whatever you want to call it, transformation is like a slap in my face, knowing what we know from Goku all the way back from Dragon Ball. I just want to focus on the last episode. The last episode was great. I love it. Part of it, though, the whole part with Frieza and Goku working together, I never thought that would happen because how they hate each other so much. But them working together to take out Jiren was the best scene I ever seen in an anime series. 17 being alive was a shock. I was not expecting that, but that just proves to me that he is the true MVP, even though, Frieza did more, but still. 17 to me was my best character in the whole series, and I will explain in further details as I do my recap. I don't like that Frieza got an easy win. Like, yeah, they revived him, but I feel that's gonna bite them in the ass, and I will explain that soon enough. So yeah, that's kind of my recap on that. Well,
Alrighty.
on those episodes. So yeah, but in general, before I start, can we all just give a round of applause to Krillin for not dying in this series? Come on, let's do it. Come on. Come on. Yeah.
Good work, Krillin. You didn't die.
Congratulations, Krillin, for not dying. All right. Now, I have a lot of points that I want to discuss, but my main 3 points about Super is that it lacked originality, it lacked villains, and it lacked background on certain characters. Background on certain characters. I agree with Chris when he first discussed it. I would have liked to see more development on characters like Hit and Topo. All we really know from Hit is that he's 1,000 years old and he's a legendary assassin. How did he get to be a legendary assassin? We don't know. But I mostly focus on Topo because from him to be, oh, I have to extinguish evil and I fight for justice, for then not caring, that was a 180 for me. And I would like to see how he, got to that point of always talking about justice and savior and all that. They never really explain that. So yeah, if it comes back, they need to work on that. Lack of villains. I'm gonna say we have 1.5. Frieza and Zamos. I'm not counting Black because that's just Zamos in disguise. I love Frieza. Gary,
spoiler.
Get mad at me. I love Frieza. I'm glad he came back. I'm glad he got a new form. But you treating this as a new series, you should have gave us a new villain. You shouldn't. You basically you using your recycled villain. Look how much times Frieza came back. Look how much time Frieza wanted revenge. I feel that's them being lazy. I did not like that. As much as I enjoyed him, Turning Power, I did not like it. As for Goku Black, again, them being lazy. Who wanted Goku from Dragon Ball? The Dragon Ball movie. Joro. Who took Goku's body in the Frieza saga? Ginyu. I feel like they're just pulling stuff from the past and just putting it into Super. So that's why I say it's 1.5 villain, because it's just Zamu. Like, obviously, Goku, he's the strongest. Obviously, you're gonna go for the strongest person. I didn't like that at all. And that's what leads to my point with originality. They do a lot of reference to Z, how they show a lot of flashback, and they're just copying it, but just giving it better graphics, better scenery. And to me, that's why, in my opinion, I'm gonna give Super out of 10 a 6 out of 10, because most of it was them copying from basically all of them, Ball, Z, and GT, and I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
I'm gonna counterpoint you with the villain thing here, just really quickly.
Okay.
I think, in my opinion, the reason that there wasn't a brand new main villain this time around, I guess you can use Zamasu, but he's technically from the future version, Zamasu. But I think after the introduction of Beerus and Whis, you couldn't really create a villain that Beerus and Whis would not be aware of. And if there was a character like that, I feel like they either would have dealt with him themselves or they would have warned Goku about it.
What if the villain was an android?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, technically, then Beerus wouldn't know because he can't sense them. At least all we know, for what we know.
Yeah, but as an almighty being like Whis, I think Whis would have figured something out. I mean, they knew if the time rings would have been used, thus they went to Zamazu's planet, right? They already felt that something was wrong with Goku Black. They knew that he was a Kai, but they couldn't understand how. I feel like if any sort of villainous thing would have happened, they would have known about it. And again, it goes back to, Dragon Ball's terrible plot holes. Like, they would have known about the androids attacking Earth, but they wouldn't care because they don't care about Earth during the Cell Saga. They only cared about it when Beerus woke up and had a dream of a Super Saiyan God. I just feel like if there's
Gary,
anybody...
Are you really sure about that? Because, in my opinion, based on what we've seen, Beerus only cared about Zamasu because it had to deal with the deities and the time ring. I mean, look at Frieza. He came to Earth because of the Sunday. He didn't even care that the Earth was going to be destroyed. He said, I will protect Boma if you keep making me delicious food. So are you really sure it's just about... I think it's only about certain villains that he would have been concerned about, not all.
Well, if you look at it, you have the tournament of power. If there's somebody more powerful than Goku, you don't think he would have grabbed him to fight in the tournament of power?
But
From his universe?
Exactly.
If
it had nothing to do with elimination, no.
This would also mean that he would have to put effort in, so I don't know.
Well, let me counterpoint that and look at it from a different perspective. The writers knew what you're saying, Gary, that basically you have Beerus and Whis now, and it wouldn't make sense to have somebody more powerful unless it had to do with the deity thing, which concerns the gods basically. Everything else is just like the planets are left to themselves to fend for themselves. Which, as a point, is why why Universe 7 was so lowly rated on the immortal scale.
To be fair, I blame the Supreme Kai for that. He is shit.
Yeah, but to that sense, they kind of realize that, and I think that's why it works, because there are no real villains after Zamasu, because they're not supposed to be villains. The Tournament of Power was survival. They were all their own heroes. They were all trying to survive. There really wasn't anyone that was a bad guy. I mean, the Trio de Dangers were kind of jerks when it came to them fighting, but they're pretty much the most powerful in their own universe. It was all just them trying to live. So none of them were really villains. Even Jiren wasn't really a villain per se, like Frieza would be, or Cell, or Super Buu. He was trying to survive. He was trying to prove to himself that power is the most important thing if you want to protect anybody, and that was why it worked, is because there weren't actual bad guys. It was just people trying to save themselves in their universe in this kind of horrible, twisted death match, if you will, because essentially that's what it was. It was a death match.
Yeah.
By the way, now that
I agree.
While we're talking about villains, now that we know that, spoilers for anyone, if you haven't watched it, why you listening to this? You've had several weeks. Go watch it, you idiots. Now that Frieza's alive, do you think we're going to see Beerus be a villain again?
I don't think so.
I don't.
Imagine, because Frieza can tell Goku and Vegeta, who, now that Frieza knows how powerful they both are, and how Frieza wants to be the god of destruction, and how Frieza is the king of manipulation, he could tell, he sort of, Vegeta-sana, I only destroyed planet Vegeta because Beerus told me and he threatened me.
I think...
This is my thing, real quick. Based off of Frieza, and he being revived by Whis and not Goku, I feel Frieza is going to use that against Goku, saying that technically you still owe me a favor. And if Frieza does become God of Destruction, I feel he's going to find some way to have Goku take out Beerus. Based off of that.
I'm telling you, that favor will be used in the new movie. If my theory is correct.
Here's.
Go
ahead. No, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say that I believe that the Frieza's favor will be used in the new movie because I think the Saiyan will attack him first. He'll be the first person to come up to this meet this new legendary god of whatever he is, god of Saiyans, and he'll come to Goku for help. And then Goku will go, "Oh, strong guy, me fight."
I have a hard time believing Frieza would come and beg Goku to help him.
Oh no, I don't think he'll be begging. I just think he'll know that he understands that he can't beat him on his own, and that the silly
I think it's going to be the other way around.
I
think it's going to be the other way around. I think Frieza's going to come on his own accord to help Goku fight the Saiyan. Personally.
I see the opposite. I don't see why Frieza would come help this monkey.
Because this monkey is
Gary,
more
let me
powerful
ask you,
and more dangerous.
If that does happen, if Frieza does come to help Goku, do you feel if that does happen, Frieza would become more like Vegeta?
Yes, and that is something I don't want to have happen. I think Frieza is clearly the best villain they've ever had. And him joining forces with Goku in the Tournament of Power was something that he didn't really have a choice to do. And we talked about this last week, where him realizing that in order to survive and not be erased, to have his dreams come true, whether now or in another future time, he has to sacrifice himself with Goku in order to beat Jiren, because he can't win the way he originally thought he could win. And sure, there are some parts I didn't like him just like, oh, just send me back to hell. It's just as bad as being here with you guys.
I thought that was great.
Me too.
To me,
I love that part.
To me, that's not Frieza. To me, Frieza would have been somebody who would have done everything he possibly could to stay there as long as he possibly can and try to manipulate the situation. But he didn't. He's like, oh, just send me back, and then Whis revived him because Beerus told him to. Which, again, raises the big question of, since Whis can revive anybody at any time, and so can the Angels, I think it raises a big question to what else they're capable of doing. Again, it's something we talked about last week, but my
theory to that is that if they do that, should the show even be called Dragon Ball, since they could just ask Whis to revive people?
Yeah, but I think Whis probably won't do it.
Can I further that point? You're all like, I think tap dancing around what I think we're missing is maybe if they don't. Here's my theory: they probably won't do this in the movie, but in the next series, what is the one thing Frieza wants above all else? Power, to be the ruler of the universe. He was looking up at the Zenos, at the beginning of the tournament, basically, like I'm going to rule you. You will bow to me at some point in the future. Now that he's seen what the Super Dragon Balls can do, I think the next series, the main focus is going to be him put in the lead of the main villain role and getting the Super Dragon Balls so that he can become basically the ruler of all the universes. I think that's going to be his new goal. When he, at the very end of Super, when he says, I'm back, sorry to keep you all waiting, I think his Frieza Force is not going to be concerned with taking over just Universe 7 anymore. It's going to be getting to the other universes to get the Super Dragon Balls so that he can have his wish granted to be supreme overlord of all of the universes. I think that's his... Because Frieza thinks big, and he's a genius, and he wants to have ultimate power above all else and have everybody bow to him. What better way would there be now that he knows that the Super Dragon Balls can grant that for him? I think that's going to be the main focus of the new series. I don't think he's going to be in the role of Vegeta. I think he'll make some appearances as a reluctant team-up like we've seen at the end of Super, but I think he's still far too evil to be in a permanent anti-hero situation.
I think you have a point, Chris, but I don't think it's going to be the center point of whatever the next series is going to be. I think we'll see Frieza doing stuff, but it's going to be like foreshadowing to what he's doing, rather than him being the center stage and the main villain once again. I think he'll be doing his thing, and we'll see that there's a bigger plot happening, but I don't think it's going to be the center plot at that point. So,
possibly, yeah. But I mean, if he does go for that, then what greater threat is there to all of the universes? If that's what his goal is, who knows? That's just I'm just trying to think like him, and now after seeing what the Super Dragon Balls do, I think that's what he's going to go for.
Yeah, I just hope, like Alfonso pointed out, I hope he doesn't become kind of this anti-hero like Vegeta became. And then eventually the main hero, in my opinion, of the whole show.
I agree with this one.
Of course.
Yeah. But yeah.
At least he has that cool rock music. Frieza, 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 Frieza.
Yeah, but going on the recap thing, I've said this before. I think recapping the Resurrection F and Battle of the Gods was a complete waste of time. I think
another shortcut. That was another shortcut. That's basically the first 30 episodes of 2 movies.
Yeah, they could have added those 30 episodes to more of the Tournament of Power and done more backstory.
Well,
but
the reason why they gave it was it's annoying. I don't like the fact that they were there, but at the same time, I can understand the reasoning they gave for it. They wanted to do it because they know that the series would follow on from after the movies, and not everyone would have seen the movies, so they did the episodes. Yeah. But at the same time, I wish they'd just done. I wish they'd just aired the movies instead.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as Zamasu goes, I actually really like that character. I thought he was a great villain for the franchise. I know the arc wasn't very long, and sure, there's technically 2 of them. But what Zamasu did is essentially what I believe we all thought would have been the best way to beat all the best villains, is to wish the worst shit to happen to them with Dragon Balls and win that way. And that's what Zamasu did. He knew he wasn't powerful enough to beat Goku, so what did he do? He just chatties with him and killed him in a weaker body. It was a purely genius move. And then he went and did the same thing not the same thing, but he went and killed everybody else because he knew that nobody was as powerful as Goku.
Because Goku has that plot armor.
Yeah, you're right, Gary. But when I saw Zamasu and his plot, it reminded me of Baby's plot. He wanted
Baby's
plot.
Baby's plot was more vengeance for destroying his race.
Yeah, true, but he had the same concept. He hated the Saiyans. Zamasu hated the Saiyans. He eventually hated Immortals. Zamasu hated Mortals. He wanted to take over a strong body, and Zamasu did the same thing. I feel like Akira, this was like, even though GT is not his, but it's like they taken a lot of stuff from the previous one and just added to this one and put better graphics. That's all I feel Super, and I can't give Super a perfect score because of that. I don't feel like it was original. I feel like he was just being lazy. We already know that he forgot a lot of the episodes anyway.
At least 17 is a good guy in this arc. And he doesn't go all like super asshole evil. Like he did in GT.
I don't know. I have to disagree with you, man. I don't see the comparison with Baby.
That's fine.
Baby had completely different motivations for me than Zamasu did. To me, I took Zamasu's story arc as like this Christian mytho story arc, where he feels that he's an almighty being and mortals should bow to him and not the other way around. Kind of like Lucifer would have done and did, if you follow it. But yeah,
or
to
like
me...
Frieza.
Well, Frieza's immortal. He's not immortal.
He's not immortal, though.
Yeah, he's not an almighty godlike being. I just loved, Zamasu, I feel like they gave a lot more backstory to, where we saw his motivations. We saw him go with, his Kai to all these other planets and seeing these mortal primitive beings murder each other over nothing. And he's like, this is ridiculous. They shouldn't be doing this. And then here comes Goku and beats the shit out of him. And he's like, how is this possible? He's just immortal. He can't be more powerful than me. The motivations they gave Zamasu, I think, were far greater than they gave to a lot of the characters. What was the motivation of Boo? He had no motivation. He was being told to do something, and he did it.
Boo, eat you up!
Which I was disappointed with Boo, because seeing him train and him get skinny, that I was getting excited, but then he falls asleep. But yet you see him awake to eat at the end. What?
That's because that scene takes place 2 months after the Tournament of Power ended.
Yeah,
when he's.
That's not the point. That's not the point. I was disappointed seeing that. I was disappointed seeing that he did all that training for nothing.
I'm disappointed as well because Boo is my favorite character.
Yeah, I mean, you can even go further back. Look at Cell. What was his motivation for anything?
To show off his power.
To show off his power. Frieza is the only one who had real motivation.
Gary wanted to be the best ever was.
Oh my god. To me, Cell was just like any other character. Maybe it's the cells he had of Vegeta and Piccolo at the time, where he's like, oh, I have to be the most powerful, and I'm going to prove it to you in this pointless-ass tournament when I could have ruled the world way before that. But he just wanted to test his strength because he had Saiyan cells. He had no motivation for anything. His motivation was to get his perfect form, and once he had it, he had no purpose in life after that eventually. That's the way I took it.
Let's go back to disappointment for a minute, because there's a lot of disappointment moments in this series. Goten and Trunks.
Very big disappointment.
Or should we say
that Gotenks was not in the show more, or wasn't relevant.
Well, Gotenks and Trunks, aka the duo that seems the guy that seems to shrink with every appearance.
This is true.
Goku. Even Goku was a disappointment, and I'm going for that in terms of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan God was barely used. Yeah. You get this new power and you barely use it. You use it against bears, and then all of a sudden you skip all of the monsters with it, but then you use it in the tournament power. Like that's just a waste. Which leads me into Blue. Blue is supposed to be this all powerful God power, but yet you have people like Krillin and 17 evenly match with you. What?
Well, I understand the way, because Super Saiyan Blue is all about ki control, which means, especially for Krillin, it means he can lower his... Yeah, he can be in blue, but at the same time be lower power level, because it's all about how you control your ki. Yeah, and can't mind. But Android 17, that's just weird. Well, no, because he can't sense Android 17's ki, so he doesn't know... He wouldn't know how much to actually, level
Super Saiyan 3. Another transformation, which is my favorite. I know
Super Saiyan 3 is the most useless transformation.
Yeah, I know, Gary. I know, but it's still my favorite. I love it. But
it looks cool.
Used. Yeah, that's.
Do you know why it's rarely used though?
Yeah, it drains a lot of stamina. He can't.
It
I
completely
know.
drains you of power.
Yeah, but still, Gary, don't get mad, because I know what you're gonna say. But Khalifa, Kal, and Kaba. Yeah, I'm sorry. Disappointments. I'm sorry. Let me finish. Disappointment in terms of their Super Saiyan way they transform. Not much Kaba, but Khalifa and Kal. Like, seriously, tingly feeling in the back. Like, come on, man. Trunks and Goten didn't even do that. They just transform. I mean, yeah, that's still a shortcut too, but at least it ain't the way Khalifa was, transforming, and you had a little sparky, shiny shit on her back. Like, really?
To be fair, though, at the same time, they're from a different universe, therefore they have different biological...
Yeah, we know the whole ZSL nonsense thing. Yeah, I get, but still, to see it in like...
Well, it's just they have different rules, because they evolved to not have tails anymore. Saiyan still technically has tails in Z, so...
Still, obviously, Gary, you already know. Kyle,
no, I actually agree with you on them transforming and the way they do it, because Super Saiyan is achieved through anger and rage and emotions that are linked to that. And Kaba clearly transformed because of what Vegeta said, and
that's why I'm not including him. Yep.
Yeah, but Kale and Khalifa, they transformed for whatever of their... It wasn't because of anger or rage. Well,
it was just because
Kale transformed to Berserker, which is supposed to be the highest level of Super Saiyan you can get, which made sense up until Jiren one-shotted her, which made no sense. But don't get me started on that.
Like you said before, power levels do not matter anymore. Everybody is wearing plot armor at this point. So
because we saw it, because Jiren noticed how powerful he still one-shotted her. Goku went Super Saiyan Blue and Kamehameha her point blank and did nothing. Like you said, a lot of Super, I agree with you, is, I wouldn't say reused, but
not
it
reused,
is
but it's
a lot of references to Z
and the movies. Yeah,
a lot of them. A lot of stuff we saw was just a throwback, and I don't mind it, because to me,
I don't mind it either, because it's, like I said, is a different take on it. The colors, the animation, the explosion, they look better. But when you see it, you automatically think of some particular episode from the past series. And my best example is Vegeta's Final Flash against Jiren. When I saw that for the first time, that was basically him doing that on Cell.
Yeah. Well, like you said, we talked about this last episode too, I believe, or the episode before that, where I said no transformation has been, useful in Dragon Ball Z since Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 against Cell. Like, every transformation has been essentially pointless. Super Saiyan 3 couldn't beat Boo. Gotenk Super Saiyan 3 almost beat Boo. Maybe could have done it if he didn't run out of time.
Well,
Super
Goku
Saiyan
said
God.
that his Super Saiyan 3 could have beaten Boo if he hadn't pissed about.
Maybe. We don't know. Vegeta's final explosion, he thought should have been enough to defeat Boo. It didn't. We've seen Boo revive from the craziest goddamn attacks. So you never know. No translation. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Sparkle Vegeta. None of it was useful.
Sparkle!
Sparkle beat Topo, though. Sparkle beat Topo.
Yeah, Sparkle beat Topo.
This final explosion beat Topo, not Sparkle, man.
Because he was sparkly. Come on.
Okay.
Sparkle.
That never gets old.
To me, Ultra Instinct was the first transformation that actually mattered since Gohan went Super Saiyan 2. Everything before that was just a pointless transformation.
And he did beat Jiren with Ultra Instinct. He had that one.
Yes.
But his like to build more tension or whatever, plot armor, his body still couldn't handle that much power of the gods, and so that's why they had to do the Frieza team up to win. But that was the victory. He was able to beat Jiren, the most powerful of all the universes, and with that form.
And right now, like the new movie coming out, we know Goku can't do Ultra Instinct because he doesn't know how he did it in the first place.
And I'm glad that he can't.
He can't.
I'm gonna call it that he will.
He's going to do it in the movie. And to me, that's just another throwback to the first movie they did after the Cell Saga, which is BoJack, when Gohan didn't know how to go Super Saiyan 2 again, and he does it at the end. And I feel it's going to be the exact same thing with this movie. Hell, even the villain's colors are the same as BoJack, with the crazy greens going around. So yeah, like he's going to do it, and he's always going to do it, whether he masters it or not. That's just the formula of Dragon Ball at this point, in my opinion. So.
By the way, talk about movie villains. If anyone wants to see a good what if story, I'm going to promote him again because I always promote him because he's probably one of my favourite YouTubers. Masako X. He has just done an April Fool's what if story where he said, "What if Broly turned good?" So yeah, I would recommend going to check out because it was actually quite interesting. Well, ish. But yeah, let's just say it involves Broly and Goten healing him up.
God damn it, Goten.
So yeah. It also involves a senzu bean.
I mean, there has been good news that's come out since Super has ended, though. Outside of the movie, Toei Animation finally is smart enough to realize the sensation that Dragon Ball is, and is opening up an entire studio dedicated just to Dragon Ball and the Dragon Ball franchise, which I thought was cool.
It's weird because they already did that kind of last year with the Dragon Ball Room, which was the manga version of Dragon Ball.
But now this is for anime, not just manga.
Because the Dragon Ball Room is a place dedicated to just making Dragon Ball spin-offs. They're the ones who made that amazing Yamcha manga. Which you should all read.
They've seen that One Piece can do it, so they know that they can.
I mean, I hope this signals a sign of more than just what we have of Dragon Ball. Like we talked about, I want them to go into other universes and show me what's going on there.
I want that Yamcha
do
manga
a spin-off.
as an anime.
They could do it. You never know.
Like I was saying.
Please do not do a spin-off on Universe 2. I hate Universe 2.
Who are Universe 2?
Thank you.
You mean Universe 6?
The love people.
Yes, the love people.
All I know is I want a Universe spin-off where Universe 11 invites Gohan over, and it's a spin-off of the Great Saiyaman and the
Pride Troopers. Yes,
Pride Troopers.
I want more Dispo.
Oh my god!
He was my favorite of
we
the
all
three.
know it's going to be Universe 6, so let's not get it.
Imagine it.
Chris, what were your disappointment moments?
Unless it's Back to the Future, I have a real problem with time travel in general. Because as soon as they get into as soon as they get into time travel, I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just going to throw all logic out the window, and I'm just going to try and sit back and enjoy the ride. And that's what I did. It was fun, seeing Vegito again and the whole Zamasu fight, and seeing Trunks, go Super Saiyan, Flashy Saiyan with a giant sword and all that.
Super Saiyan Rage.
That's the difference. Trunks is still in Rage Super Saiyan, which is the Brawly version of Super Saiyan. So eventually he could reach Brawly Legendary Super Saiyan power.
I mean, that's the way that the story was fine. But as soon as they get into time travel, I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna not.
Yeah.
I just can't. I just don't want to try and follow the logic anymore. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the fighting. So that was kind of. I mean, I knew I was going to get into that as soon as as soon as Adult Trunks showed up again. But I wasn't expecting it to get that crazy with the different time rings and the two Zenos. I love that we got two Zenos because I loved them together. But that was the only real. That was my biggest disappointment. At least the first one that comes to mind. Some of the fillers were good. Some of them were not so much. The best filler was what's her name? Arale?
Yeah.
With I love that. Beerus and the epic food that gives him instant diarrhea was just classic. I couldn't stop laughing. And then Vegeta. I'm never gonna fight a gag comic character again. Almost like Looney Tunes level of silliness. It was great.
Wait, before we leave that future thing, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to say this because it's in my head. That the Back to Future crossover. Goku, I've come back in time. What? Why, Trunks? Your son has become evil because he's become too much of a minor character. We've got to go to the future and stop him. Your son, Goku.
Oh, Ben. God damn.
We've got to stop your son, Goku.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this: in the whole series, the moment is there any moment you rather change for something else, a particular arc or episode that you didn't like and you wish they had done something different?
I wish that Goku and Vegeta had been Zamasu instead of Future Trunks, or had Future Trunks actually beat him and not Zeno. I would take one of those.
I would say Jiren's backstory.
Okay.
Either flesh it out more,
sorry,
or completely change it to something
like Batman.
God damn it! That's not Batman. That's more Superman. That's like evil Superman.
Honestly, the thing that pissed me off most, well, besides the time travel, whatever, Majin Buu. God damn, I wanted to see him whoop some ass in the Tournament of Power. Like I wouldn't have even have, I love that they brought Frieza in, but if you're gonna kick anybody out, dude, Tien or fucking Krillin, man. Like,
see, I was gonna say I love you, and now I hate you.
Wait, Chris, wait. Which that leads into my point, but I can't say Krillin because Krillin actually did something. Out of all 10 of the people on Universe, even Tien was the most least effective. So I feel he should have been eliminated. If they didn't put Boo, the person I want to replace Tien would have been Future Trunks. And the reason why I say Future Trunks is because he came back to the past twice. They helped him twice. This could have been his way to redeem them, especially for Gohan.
No.
That episode, knowing that he had an episode where Gohan, he see Gohan happy and he has a family, and that would have been Trunks' way to like, you save my universe, my timeline, I'm gonna help save your universe. I feel that would have been a better choice than Tien.
I think you forget that time travel is illegal, and Zeno probably would have erased that whole universe if you found out about it.
Also, you were replacing.
You don't know that.
Oh, I know that.
You don't know that.
Beerus threatened to erase the universe if they did it again. He blew up the time capsule so they couldn't do it again.
Also, you're replacing someone useless with someone just slightly less useless.
Trunks is not useless.
Trunks is useless, dude. Kid
Yo, I
Trunks
feel
is more
hurt right
useful
now.
than Future Trunks.
Kid Trunks didn't do nothing.
He almost
Did a little
defeated
power
Boo.
up. He did a little power to bring Future Trunks here, and then he gave him a little pet talk to say, "Oh, man up! Come on."
Okay.
Okay, Future Trunks. Oh, some androids are going to attack in the future. By the way, I don't know what they look like really, even though I got kicked my ass by them. I'll just say that some androids might look like people. It will come in a couple of years, maybe.
Either way, it wouldn't have counted, and the universe would have been erased if Zeno found out that they're using time travel. We all know this to be a fact.
But wait, what would happen if they go? But the other Zenos from the future.
Whatever
Exactly.
would have happened. I was so excited to see Boo, Majin Buu, going looking all buff. He'd been training all hard. I was so excited to see him do this, and then they just kind of, whatever. Even if, Boo wouldn't have been one of the last ones standing in the tournament, like if he'd gotten knocked out like the other guys did eventually, it still could have ended up the same way. But at least we would have gotten to see Boo do some badass stuff and really show what he's capable of, instead of Tien, just being Tien and being fucking useless except for that one guy he eliminated. Like I don't know. That's my biggest disappointment, is that we didn't get to see Boo in the Tournament of Power.
But we did get to see Boo in the Tournament of Power. It's called Frieza. He was sleeping in the corner the entire time.
Oh.
Hey!
Okay, so
Because of his nap time, they won.
now that we kind of
Hold on. Can I
Sorry,
make a counterpoint to Boo really quickly?
No.
Yes.
Is it because
I
he's
would
too
have loved to
overpowered?
see Boo more. No, I would have loved to see Boo as well. I think it makes sense that Boo wasn't in there because Boo is too much of a wild card. Without Hercule, Boo is uncontrollable. And he could have easily turned somebody to candy and ate them and killed them, would have been erased.
But he doesn't kill them when he eats them.
They don't know that. Do they?
He just poops them out, and they're fine.
No, they're just stuck in his body. No, he kills them. Deborah died when he ate his ass.
I think it's how Boo chooses.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of how he chooses how people dies or doesn't die.
I just think he doesn't have enough self-control.
And GT, but he didn't kill them.
GT doesn't count. Don't stop referencing GT.
Imagine if
But Boo was in GT. Boo was in
doesn't
GT.
count.
We talking about his abilities, so it counts.
I think they could have brought Hercule along as a spectator, and that would have been fine.
Maybe, but I just feel Boo was too much. He thinks too much like a child, and I think that would have hurt them in the tournament.
I would have loved to see Jiren meet him, though.
No, it would have been cool. But I still believe that if whatever comes after Super, I think Boo's going to play a massive role in it. And I've said this before, I think whatever the next story arc is going to be, I think it's going to focus on the Demon Realm. And that's where Majin Buu is from. And, yeah. I feel like Boo was too much of a wild card for them to use. I think it would have gone against his character if they made him think too much for himself and actually be smart and hold back his power. Boo is not somebody who holds back his power. He unleashes it as powerful as he can. And he uses, a lot of gag moves, like he takes out his belly and throws it at somebody. That's cool and all. But I just don't think he understands how powerful he is. He doesn't know how to hold back without Hercule pretty much telling him what to do.
Boo eat you up.
Now that we kind of touched on that in terms of disappointing characters, let's talk about favorite characters. I'm going to start off. Even though 17 is MVP, my favorite character throughout this whole series is Master Roshi.
He kicked some ass. He was awesome in this series.
Master Roshi is like, obviously in terms, I don't know, could be close to Jiren age or second close to Jiren age. But yet, the way he was doing in the tournament, I'm surprised he lasted that long.
Yeah.
Well, Master Roshi's immortal. We know that now. No, he is. They talked about it. Like he's immortal. Like he can die if he's killed, but he can't die of old age. That's his immortality.
I think he can die from actual point. Yeah.
Yeah, like he can be killed, but he can't die of old age. Is essentially what I'm saying. Yeah, they talked about this in one of the filler episodes.
Yeah, I remember when he was going to give Goku the immortality of Phoenix, but the Phoenix had died from food poisoning. Yeah.
Wow.
No, but I agree. I agree with you, Alfonso. He was Master Roshi was fucking badass in it, and he did serve his purpose in the Tournament of Power, like he talked about. He's like, these guys don't really think through, and they tend to get caught in traps. That's why my job is to eliminate people like you. Before he trapped that one chick, it's like he was a perfect addition, and he did his job well. And he was totally a badass in it.
And 17, obviously, yes. 17.
Oh, yeah.
So why I should have been the leader over Gohan, because 17 made more wise decisions than Gohan did. Like I already said back then, Gohan was a supporting character. All he did was follow this command and did what he was supposed to do. That was it. 17 should have took the leader spot. So those are my two favorites. Anyone else?
Well, you're gonna hate me, but Kale and
I already know
Khalifa.
you're gonna say Frieza.
No, Kale and Khalifa were my best,
God,
my favorite characters.
God damn it!
No, you already know Frieza. Frieza is my all-time favorite villain. So, as far as the tournament, no. As far as this series goes, he wasn't my until the final episode. He wasn't my favorite at all. Like I loved like his scheming and his planning, but during the Tournament of Power, he literally didn't do anything up until the last few episodes when Dispo and Topo finally decided to fight. What else did he do? Yeah, he eliminated Frost by tricking him, but we all kind of assumed he was going to do that anyway because that's the kind of person he is. Resurrection F, again, he got more powerful, he got a new form, but it was the same old Frieza. He gets this new power, and he's like, oh, let's go kill the Saiyans, and he loses again. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Frieza, but as far as new characters go, Kale and Khalifa easily took this for me. I just love...
Why?
A big brawly, dude. That's why. I love the uncontrollable, just rage berserker mode that they have. Like, Brawly was more in control of his berserker power, whereas Kale was completely out of whack. Like, her body without her thinking. I didn't like when she finally gained control of it, because I felt like she got a lot weaker when that happened. And we saw that she got a lot weaker. But when it's just full-on rage, we can see what that can do. And we see how powerful this final form of a Super Saiyan is. It's almost unstoppable. And Khalifa, I just loved her character in general. I love what she looks like with the Super Saiyan hair, because she has this long hair in general, so her hair already looks like a Super Saiyan 3. I just love the fact that she is essentially Goku in spirit, where she just wants to fight and get more powerful. She discovered this new power of Super Saiyan. She's like, oh, I want to figure out how he goes through all these forms, and I want to get there as fast as possible.
Which I agree with you on that, Gary. I do like the fact that we do have female Saiyans in this series, because we never did. Last female Saiyan I remember was Fasha in the Bardock movie.
Yeah. It's true.
And I guess
Kappa, I like Kappa, but
afterwards as well.
But yeah, as far as new characters, those are my two favorite new characters, and I want to see more of them. Like I know I'm not gonna probably see Kale go full berserker again, but I really hope she does, because I just love her rampaging and everybody trying to stop her. Like, I think that was the big appeal of Brawly in the first place, was he's just this big old powerful Saiyan, and he's just lost control, and nobody can even lay a finger on him.
Freeze.
Until, of course, Goku kills him in one shot by punching him in the gut. So,
Which to be fair, he punched him where he was injured as a child.
Which is stupid. This is a stupid concept.
Yeah,
Well,
I've been saying it for years.
That's every movie that Dragon Ball has.
Wait.
And then the final scene, they win in one hit.
He literally punched him in his childhood.
Oh, in the childhood.
No, he punched him in the wound where they thought they stabbed him to kill him, but he survived. So it was like a wound that he had on his body.
Yeah. From his childhood. They punched him in his childhood.
Sure.
And Chris, your favorite characters?
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
I'm gonna have to go with Vegeta because he actually got he actually improved he dropped a bit with the Trunks arc, but he actually changed as a character over time. He evolved from where he was from Z and carried on. So I actually like the fact that they actually gave him character arc, and Vegeta is best boy. So, so yeah, that it's hard for me to go in more detail. I like Super Saiyan Blue Sparkle. I believe that it's equal. It might be equal to Kaioken, but because it doesn't use Kaioken, probably is more efficient for him. So yes, Goku will rival him with Kaioken and cheat, but Goku's body will be more damaged than Vegeta's natural form of power.
It's just concentrated Vegeta's pride. He's got so much pride he can actually bottle it and sell it now.
So yeah, I really like. That's why I really like the Vegeta. So yeah, that's my view on it. Really, it's hard for me to. I also love that scene where they. I know it sounds stupid, but I love the scene where Vegeta, Bulma, and Trunks are on that little train. Anyone remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that showed me the family side that Vegeta now has compared to what he used to be, where he's just like, my pride! Damn you, Kakarot, I'll be stronger than you. Now he's, realised that he will be stronger than Goku, but he's going to go there he's getting there in a different path.
Oh, one thing's for sure, he's a better family man than Goku.
Yep.
Anything is a better family man than Goku.
Never even kissed Chi-Chi. They did it somehow, but they never kissed.
He left his son to fend for himself in his rival's hands.
In his defense, he was dead for that part, so.
Yeah, but he still told him, hey, take care of him. He's like, okay. This guy who's been trying to kill me for ages. Protect my son. Train him. Just saying. Sorry. Continue.
To that note, I love that. Speaking of scene, Ben, yeah. I loved when Goku kind of lost control of his power after going to Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. Yeah. And he teleports into Bulma and Vegeta's bedroom, and she's coming out of the shell. And Vegeta's like, what are you doing?
You have me at Bulma coming out the shower.
I was dying. Because Vegeta's actually met that there's somebody in his bedroom with his wife, and he was about to lose his shit. So funny. Just the whole family man thing. Yeah, it was perfect.
But speaking about relationships, Goku and Chi relationship is so confusing. All right, we see Goku get hurt in the tournament. Chi comes concerned, worried. But yet Goku and his team wins the tournament at the end, but you see Chi yelling at him. I don't get them. I don't.
That's weird.
That's why Bulma's
It's a controlled relationship, man.
Yeah.
It's a controlled relationship.
Chris, your favorite characters?
Well, it is, if to anybody who has listened to me since I've joined this podcast, it is
Ribbery?
It is, huh?
Ribbery? I knew it.
No, please, Chris, don't say that's her. Please, don't.
Beerus has been my absolute favorite addition to Super. I think he made Super. I don't think if they had gone with him as the God character, with how he is, his personality, from the beginning now to the end of Super, you see his personality grow to the point that he at first didn't care. He was just a god of destruction doing his thing, didn't give a shit. he meets Goku, and Goku, like everybody else who meets Goku, it has an effect on him, and he comes to understand a little more and actually care for Goku. He cared when he thought Goku had been killed by the Spirit Bomb. He was almost like, he cared more about Goku dying than his own damn brother. You see this growth in his character over the series that I just absolutely love. I love him as a character. I love his design as the whole Egyptian guy. Oh my god, I'm never going to live this down. I love his, designed after the Egyptian god of destruction. I think it's Bast. He's definitely the best addition that they could have put to the Dragon Ball universe was Beerus, and it fits so perfectly in contrast to the rest of the characters. It adds that new dynamic that a revival of Dragon Ball had so desperately needed. As far as other characters, I got to agree with Gary. I love Caulifla. She's basically just a female Goku, but she's a lot more fun. And I love Hit, and I said it before. I really, really want more of Hit's backstory. What happened? How did he come across this time skip power? What race is he? And how did he rise to this? Being the Universe 6's greatest assassin. Like, I want so much more about his backstory because I thought he was just such a cool character. With this ability, and that he's still pushing himself further and further. And again, meeting Goku, you see more of a side of Hit that even he didn't realize was there until he meets Goku, and Goku pushes him past his own limits. He almost seemed bored with life, being this assassin because nobody else could touch him. He meets Goku, and suddenly he's like, "Wow, I've got to get more powerful." Like, I think Hit was a great character too that they introduced, and I want to see more of him. Sure.
So my question to you guys, since I already rate this series, what score will you give it, and do you feel it lives up to the Dragon Ball name?
Go ahead.
Let's start with Ben first.
I want to give it an 8.
Okay.
I really loved most of Super. Especially, to be honest, I didn't even mind the movie adaptations that much because they expanded some of the content. It wasn't exact rip-off of the movie. So yeah, I don't mind that too much. But at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of just some of it. Yeah, some of the stuff that they repeated that was exactly the same as the original show. So that's why I'm going to have to give it the 8 out of 10.
Okay. Chris?
I agree with him. I think it's an 8 out of 10. I think it lives up to the Dragon Ball because we definitely got it. We got some amazing fights in it. We got Goku being Goku. Got some cool new characters. And I loved it. I thought it was a great series. And the fact that it made me want more Dragon Ball, I don't feel like, oh, this is over, they should just end it like I do after, 26 years of The Simpsons. It's like, I want more Dragon Ball. They've introduced more characters. I want more of it, and I'm excited to see where they take it to next. Does have its flaws, like any series, but I think 8 out of 10 for the entire series as a whole is pretty respectable.
Gary?
I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I guess you guys did. I'd give it a 9, to be honest with you. I think a lot of the characters they introduced in Super were fantastic characters that have easily made the franchise better. Chris mentioned Beerus, Whis, the Angels now, Zeno himself. Like I said, I really enjoyed Zamasu as a villain. I think it was a great villain. Frieza came back. He has a new golden form. Who knows what? We now know Frieza can get even more powerful with training, just like a Saiyan can, and transform to new forms. So who knows what awaits for him in the future, if he gets a new form or not. We were introduced to a lot of fantastic characters. Jiren. We know that there's more Saiyans now. I think it branches out to this global thing now. Well, not even global, this universal thing where now we know there's more universes. They have essentially the same races. Some of them do, and those that don't. It just opens up this new possibility that for the franchise in general, that unlike Z, when Z ended, it was like, okay, it's over. But of course they did GT. It left on like this note that, okay, Goku's going to go train somebody else now, this reincarnation of Boo and Oob. That was cool, and it was a great ending. And then, of course, we got GT, which ruined everything. Whereas with Super, we now have an even bigger possibility of something to come, where it doesn't have to now be about the characters we know. It can now be about other characters as well. They can start all these different spin-offs now, whereas before they couldn't do that because there just wasn't anywhere for them to go without having Goku and Vegeta and all these powerful guys essentially interfere with those characters. But outside of redoing the Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F, which I think was a waste of time, and some very questionable animations, which I will agree with Tim. I know he's not here, but I do agree there are a lot of parts in Super that animation-wise were not great. But other than that, I think Super was fantastic. I really do. I enjoyed almost every episode that I watched.
So, Super has ended. They did make hints. They hinted that it could come back. So when it does, what do you guys want to see in the next series?
That depends on the movie.
Let's not include the movie. This is just do hyper thought. Let's just guess what will happen. Just take a guess what you would want to happen.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to be able to guess. I want it to be something unique and new. Because if I guess, it'll be Frieza as the main villain again, and I don't want that to happen. So I want it to be a real surprise, something that I wouldn't imagine.
Okay, this is what I want. This is what I want to see. What happened to the other 6 universes? They need to explain what happened, and it doesn't have to be long. They could pull a story from Z like they do all the time with Super, and they could explain like they did with Cell. They explain his story in one episode. They explain how Kid Buu got to where he got in like 5 minutes. If they could do that, then they could wrap up the other 6 and even do the other 12 as well, because we don't really know. Honestly, like example, Universe 3, I didn't even know that was an actual person inside of the robot.
That's the whole point. Even the universe didn't.
Yeah.
The only person that knew was the angel. Even the Kais didn't know.
So, I would like to see that. I want to see who are the other 4 strongest. They said Grand Priest is one of the 5 strongest in the universe. So who's the other 4? You don't know. They never explained that. But what I mostly want to see, and Gary might laugh at this, but I want to see Frost find his way back to Universe 7, train, get a similar golden power like Frieza, and fight Frieza for, betray him. I would love to see that because they both think alike, they both act alike, and to see Frieza fight a similar race of him, that would be my dream match. I mean, obviously, yeah, by that time Frieza would be a lot stronger. Now he knows that training is the key to stronger, but I would love to see that. That would be my dream match between Frieza and Frost. I would love to see that. But yeah,
Platinum Frost.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'd get Diamond
Gary.
Frieza.
Diamond Frieza. God damn it.
Gary, do you want to see?
Honestly, like I said before, I want them to branch out into the other universes. I want a spin-off of Universe 6. I really do. I think they have 11, a lot of...
Right?
Okay, 6. 11. I could care less about 11 and the Pride Troopers.
I could care less about 2.
There you go. So I think 6... Clearly 6 is the one they wanted to focus on the most. I would love to see, Khalifa become kind of the main character. And obviously you have Kale as her kind of Vegeta in a way. You have Kaba there. Hit can obviously join the fray as well. I want a spin-off where we are pretty much a new beginning for the franchise, because there's only so much you can just continue to do with Goku and Vegeta and Frieza and all these characters, because Krillin, like you've mentioned, they're repeating stuff because there's nowhere else for them to go. Except for a new universe where you can do new things with new characters and new villains that don't have to mimic the ones you've already made.
I'm sorry, I'm going to step in. Something I need to say, it's hurting me now not to say it. You know your idea of spin-off in different universes? Do you know what they could do as the plot for that, starting that off?
What?
Everyone's going to cry at this, but remember Universe 10? The guy's a GodTube. Imagine if the spin-off is just a montage he's making for GodTube.
Oh my god.
Where he's making like little clips of every universe. Yeah, that's why we got different spin-offs, episodes of each like slice of lives, because they're actually just GodTube episodes he's made.
Dragon Ball GodTube. Dragon Ball GT. Ah!
Yeah, because let's face it, with the Universe 7, what can you do now? Like, where do you go outside of Frieza again, who's the only one alive? Sure, you can bring back Cell, but let's face it, Cell is weaker than fucking Piccolo at this point, or even Master Roshi. Unless he's been training somehow. We don't know. Where do you go? The only thing I see them going is what I mentioned before, is tackling the Demon Realm. And it's the only realm we haven't seen yet. Outside of some episodes from the original Dragon Ball where Goku travels there. We know Princess Snake is from the Hell Dimension. Dabura is clearly from the Hell Dimension. And Majin Buu is from the Hell Dimension.
I also want them to include the Kid Buu backstory that Toriyama made after Z came out. So that would be nice. Yeah.
Like, we know that Buu is not the only one of his kind. There's more of him in the Demon Realm. And that is literally the only place I see them tackling at this point. And Buu can clearly be the figure point, and you still have Oob, who we know kind of leads to the end of Dragon Ball Z, but who says that this can't take place after Dragon Ball Z, whatever the next show is. So I think the Demon Realm is really the only place you can go. And hey, you can bring back Dabura. Please do. I love that character, man.
By the way, as I said before, the Xenoverse 2 DLC brings back Dabura, so...
Yeah. It's the only place left for Universe 7 to go. So...
Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you guys are saying. It's what I want. It's what I've been saying I want. I want backstory to these other characters in other universes now. So I think we're going to get more. I think we're going to get more of the other universes, and I'm hoping that I'm right when I predicted this. I think we're going to see intermittently here Frieza and his minions doing things in the other universes in their attempts to get the Super Dragon Balls for Frieza. That's my prediction, is that it's going to be that's where Frieza is going to go, to these other universes, and with him we're going to see these other universes in action. That's what is going to be taking place.
Universe 6 is the only other universe that has the Super Dragon Balls. The Super Dragon Balls only exist in Universe 6 and 7.
Is that what they said? I thought that each universe had theirs.
No, they're split in the universes.
Fuck me. Well, either way, I think that's what's gonna. I still think that's what Frieza's going for. I still think that's what Frieza's going for now, is the Super Dragon Balls. So when it happens and I predict it, you can say, "Hey, yeah, Chris predicted this." So
you predicted Android 17 still being alive.
did.
So.
I did. I knew he was gonna be MVP, baby. The only other thing is Universe 9 has bunny girls, cat girls, and wolfie boys. So yeah, I'm excited.
God damn it. I just want to see King Kai, man. I miss King Kai, damn it.
Which is so unfair that he's still dead.
Yeah. So yeah.
So those Dragon
I think
Balls.
that's it.
That's as much as we can cover now.
This is true.
I honestly might add that I would like to see the story that led to the Dragon Ball being used to wish Daniel Bryan's career back into existence.
Oh my god!
Oh, classic move.
This has been awesome.
What did I miss?
Daniel Bryan is back to wrestling because of the Dragon Balls.
Oh, okay.
And Goku's next will probably be to face the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Oh my god!
Hey, I've been saying I want to see a wrestling DBZ crossover like they did with the Jetsons, just fully animated with the superstars.
Oh, okay.
They all go super powered.
Well, you already know John Cena's gonna win. Super Cena.
Yeah. Super Cena, yeah.
Da, 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 da.
They're gonna use the Dragon Balls to revive Steve Austin's career. So
that is
he's got the bald head. He's got the bald head and everything. It works.
Oh my, you guys!
So we're wrapping this week's episode.
I think we are.
We should be back next week, maybe.
We will.
Oh, by the way, before it ends, make sure you go play Dolly Battle. By play, I mean just look at the loading screen because that's all we get this year for April Fools because it doesn't like us.
No, we'll get more if it's anything like the Japan one. Actually, Ribéry, she's apparently going to be the Peppy Gals category read. So.
Oh yes, and that means she must have a transformation. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's a full-on Dokkan card. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I find it funny though that the current Peppy lead is actually worse than Khalifa. Because Urine is supposed to be the character lead, isn't it?
What was that?
Yeah, Urine's the Peppy lead girl character lead right now.
Who is?
Urine.
Oh yeah.
I keep thinking you're saying. I'm like, is he saying urine? What the hell?
Yeah, that chick. The chick.
Yeah, she's supposed to be the current category lead, but she's worse than Khalifa.
Sounds piss weak to me.
I think the U is supposed to be silent.
I don't care. It's urine to me.
If you're peeing right, it should be silent.
I don't know who can have a silent P.
Yeah, of course you can.
Irin. I think it's supposed to be pronounced Irin.
You just don't go straight in the bowl.
We'll find out when the English dub comes into play with her. So.
My God.
So we'll end up this week's episode with some urine. And we'll see you all next week for another episode of this podcast we still haven't. So until then, enjoy.
Starting next week, it might just be the anime podcast, not just Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, to be fair, we might just do that. My Hero Academia starts soon.
Woohoo!
Yes, it does.
And I found out what
that.
season 1 and 2. And isn't there a new One Piece coming eventually? Or did I make that up?
I think you made it up. One Piece is always going on. It never ends.
Okay. I remember rumors of season 2 of One Piece.
I've heard rumors of One Piece being painted on caves from many.
One Punch Man. Sorry, not One Piece.
One
Punch Man. Yeah, we're getting a second season of that. I don't know when it's starting though.
And Mob Psycho 100 as well.
I never watched that, so I don't know.
So good.
So yeah,
It's
look forward
an
to
anime that looks like a Nickelodeon cartoon.
See, now you put me off it. Unless it looks like Ren and Stimpy, then maybe.
Just about.
Anyway, I shall leave it with the fact that we might be doing an anime podcast from next week. So until then, this isn't even our final podcast. Just be thankful a week is going to be a standard week and not a week in freezer minutes, because then you'll be just enjoying this next podcast in Christmas. So, bye.
Ho, 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 ho.